Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Julie Kruger and I'm the owner of Kruger Immigration Law. We are a boutique immigration law firm headquartered in Buffalo, New York, where we love helping our clients achieve their dreams without borders. So today we are going to talk about what the dramatic changes that we have seen in immigration processes over the last few weeks due to the coronavirus crisis. So I'm going to highlight 3 of those changes today and explain the possible effects of those changes on real immigration cases. Feel free to ask questions in the comments below if there are other changes or rumors that you have heard, and I will do my best to provide accurate information. And if you are in an immigration process already and would like to speak with me about your case or the specifics of a question that you have, give me a call. My phone number is 716-393-9878, or you can email me at julie@krugerimmigrationlaw.com, and I'd be happy to speak with you about your case. So the first of the changes and the most dramatic that I wanted to talk about is the closing of the US-Canadian border. As of March 21st, 2020, the United States and Canada have closed temporarily the border between the two countries, the land border. And this is restricting all but essential travel for a period of 30 days, which to be ending on April 20th of 2020. But of course, it could be extended beyond that date. Essential travel is limited to very specific circumstances, including things like returning to your home country. So for example, if you're a US citizen returning to the United States, or you're a Canadian citizen returning to Canada, if you are traveling to attend school, traveling for medical treatment, traveling for work, emergency responders and public health purposes, cross-border trade, so like truckers and government or diplomatic travel, military-related travel or operations, service members returning to their home countries. What is not essential travel is any kind of travel for tourism or pleasure purposes, including visiting close family members like a spouse or child, or friends. Some things to note about this border closing is that even if the purpose of your travel does fall on one of the listed essential categories, you may still be subject to quarantine rules when you enter the other country. The other thing to note is that this closing does apply only at the land border, not at air travel, rail travel, or sea travel. So with the closing of the border, many Canadians who were in the United States at the time the border closed are now wondering what they should do. Should they depart the United States and return to Canada? Should they remain in the United States? And if so, how can they maintain a lawful immigration status? And can they work remotely for their Canadian employer for the United States, from the United States? So if you're in this situation, give me a call and we can help determine the best strategy for you. The second change is the closing of many of the USCIS offices and immigration courts across the country, the agencies that process immigration cases. USCIS has suspended all in-person services at all field offices across the country until at least April 1st. So if you're scheduled for a biometrics appointment, an interview, an InfoPass appointment, an oath ceremony, any other kind of in-person appointment at a USCIS local office, that appointment has been canceled. You will receive a rescheduling notice. USCIS, however, is not completely shut down. So you can still file petitions, you can still file applications. The service centers are still operating. So don't stop working on your immigration case altogether. And especially if you have a request for evidence with a deadline or a notice of intent to deny, or you need to get an appeal filed, those deadlines still apply. You need to comply with them. So don't forget about those. For those in removal proceedings, all immigration courts have temporarily canceled all non-detained hearings, both the master calendar hearings, the short temporary preliminary hearings, and the individual or final hearings. Most court windows are still open for filings, and of course you can always file things by mail. However, detained cases, some courts do remain open and are going forward with hearings. So if your loved one is in a detained case, is detained in an immigration facility, this is something to be really aware of, including the Batavia Immigration Court at the Buffalo Federal Detention Facility. Judges at the Batavia Immigration Court are continuing to require respondents and attorneys including from the Department of Homeland Security, to appear in person at those hearings and are being required to provide their own protective gear, despite reports that the coronavirus has begun to spread at jails and detention facilities, and that immigration judges and attorneys have already been testing positive for coronavirus. So I have a feeling we'll be seeing some appeals based on a lack of due process in those cases. The third change I wanted to talk about is travel restrictions to and from many countries. So the U.S. has issued a level 4 do not travel advisory to all U.S. citizens, recommending that they avoid all foreign travel. The U.S. has closed its border with Mexico, and as we already said, with Canada, and has restricted into the United States the entry of most foreign nationals, or for any foreign national who is in China, Iran, or most European countries within the last 14 days. U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents who are returning from high-risk areas will be routed through specific ports of entry and may be subject to quarantine. The final thing I wanted to mention, although not an immigration process change, is that we are hearing from foreign workers who are in the United States on a non-immigrant work visa and who have been laid off or terminated by their U.S. employer because of the coronavirus and the resulting economic downturn. So these workers are rightly concerned about what this means for their immigration status. So if this has happened to you, contact an immigration attorney right away, as soon as possible, so that you can discuss what to do about your immigration status. There are very specific deadlines about when you might need to depart the United States, or what you might need to do to change your immigration status to another type of status. So that's really critical that you get on top of that right away. Also, if you feel like you were terminated improperly or discriminated against, you may want to separately reach out to an employment attorney to talk about what your rights may be there. So those are the three biggest changes that we have seen in immigration in the last few weeks. The closing of the US-Canadian border, the closing of many immigration offices and courts around the country, and restrictions on travel into the United States for many foreign nationals. So thank you again so much for joining us today. And if your immigration status in the United States has changed because of this coronavirus scare and you would like to speak with me about your case, give me a call. My phone number is 716-393-9878. You can email me at julie@krugerimmigrationlaw.com. We are fully operational during this time. We are all working remotely, and you will still be able to reach us by phone and email. Thanks again. I'd be happy to discuss your case with you. Have a great day.